down in Charlottesville, Virginia, in Emancipation Park. They call it okay. So in Emancipation Park, which was originally called Lee Park after Robert E. Lee. Okay, that's what it was called. I did my research. They were talking about taking down their the Robert E. Lee statue there. That even though they call it Emancipation Park, a Robert E. Lee statue has been there since the early 20s, if I'm not mistaken. That's how long that statue's been there. So they was talking about in Charlottesville, taking that down, and a group of, they didn't identify an exact membership. Some people say KKK, neo-Nazi, a mixture of white nationalists, if you will. They staged a
Trumpsters.
Yeah, a permit. Well, we're gonna talk about that too. They staged a protest rally in protest of them taking down the statue, and a counter group of folk that well, we're going to talk about that, Keita, the whole, they set us back 80 years. We're going to talk about that. Did we actually get set back, or is shit what it's always been? But that's my, I want to give away the ending of my thing, so let's back it up. All right, so anyway, so you had some folks that was stepping up to not, some other white folk, because that's all I saw. Some other folk were there anti the white nationalist folk, if you will. You got people calling in for the show, or they just calling in? Okay, yeah, put them on the line. We're gonna talk to them in a second. We'll go right to the caller. But anyway, so that's what went down, to the point that there was a clash between the two groups, even to the point that vehicular homicide, someone got killed, hit him with the car. You know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts on that? We got a call on the air. Did the caller want to call up and get on there? Who's that caller on the air? Were you shocked that this was happening in Charlotte, Virginia?
Well, I hate to say it, but no, because it is a southern town, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, the southern states are known for doing battle with this very subject, with this Confederate flag issue. It's still an issue today, and I feel like now people are coming out more with their racism. They're not hiding it as much.
Do you want them to hide it? Would you rather they hide it?
No, I know. Like I always said, I prefer to know someone's true colors than wonder.
I know that's right.
When we say, it's Charlottesville, Virginia, are you surprised because they got the whole Confederate flag? We already, that was a southern state during the Confederate Civil War, and they're going to have their icons in place, but we can't get fooled about the North. Philadelphia looks the way it looks because of white flight. This city was the fourth largest city in America, and then it went all the way down to 7th. Now it's starting to come back. It's starting to come back because of Mexicans, and gentrification is happening, and Africans. We're getting a lot of people coming back to the city. But the population fell so slow, far down, and the economic base left the city because of white flight. So, no, they didn't put up a Robert Lee in the middle of Independence Hall, but white folks said, we only want to be around you. When the Civil Rights Bill got passed in the 70s, they just left. And now that they're coming back, they're coming back on their terms. That they're going to change my neighborhood, North Philly, to Templetown. They're going to change it. That you can't even be there. If you're going to be there, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to be the same. So when we keep saying we're surprised about it in this southern city, I'm like, well, when has it ever changed? They didn't stand there and put a statue up. They just said, we out. So that right there is prejudice. And then if we're going to come back on the way they're coming back, then we just going to buy y'all out and raise that you can't even be here before we come back into the cities. That's showing me right there attitude. They don't have to be, walking around with Confederate flags on their trucks. They come with a ski rack on their truck, because they messed me up. I was standing on the corner of 17th and Fontaine, busting up with my homies, and somebody pulled up and parked and went to a house with a ski rack on their car. So I'm like, yo, when did this start happening? He was like, shice, they coming. And now I'm seeing, all that prophecy them filled out.
Here's my thing with that, and thanks for calling in, caller. You know what I mean? Make sure you're
welcome. Y'all have a good night.
I appreciate
it.
All right, peace.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, now. But I think you raised a good point. Like, it's important, like, because we always get into the shock, the awe, the oh my God, this is happening. I don't believe this is happening.
We was woke. Everybody telling me they woke.
Oh,
they surprised. I use woke and surprised.
Oh, it's because of Trump. It's all these things. I mean, let's start to unpack some of these things. I spent some time in Virginia, and one of the things that I always bring up is that, like, I lived in Petersburg, Virginia, in some of my elementary school days, and I just remember vividly, like, there's 3 very popular elementary schools that all the black kids went to. Either they went to A.P. Hill, right, which is named after Confederate general. They went to Robert E. Lee Elementary, which was a Confederate general as well. Or they went to J.E.B. Stewart. That's the one I went to. Right? These are high elementary schools that all the children go to in Petersburg, Virginia, and they're named after Confederate soldiers. Right? So it's like it's part of the southern certain
subconscious.
It's not even subconscious. It's very conscious. They know, like, we're gonna name this
as a child, though. As a child.
Well, let's deal with. Well, first of all, the children aren't setting it up. Let's deal with the culture that these children are being raised in. Because one of the things that I think we turn a blind eye to, because we're not students of history, everything that happens in the present should be looked at in a historical context.
Absolutely.
And whether or not it's like a weird ass anomaly that's happening, because most of our responses to a lot of these things that these things are weird ass anomalies, and and they're not. They're part of a historical legacy of activity, culture, mindsets, and what have you. So you kind of want to fit these things inside that sort of thing. So when you're dealing with, like, for instance, like, I remember the culture in Petersburg, Virginia. It was very clear to us, like, the black kids, the white kids, they played together, they played ball together, da-da-da-da-da. Then it was like, well, all right, well, we about to go home. You know what I mean? It's certain sides of towns that were the white side of town. Petersburg's small as hell, but there was a white side of town, there was a black side of town, then there was an area where black and white people could chill and do their thing. But at any time in those white and black area, a race riot could break out. Just off simple, like, a black dude and a white girl out for dinner. It could be some white dudes just walk through one day like, fuck you doing with this nigga. And then, shit just pop off. And it's in the newspapers, another thing. But that was just the culture at that given time. I'm talking about the 80s. I don't know what Petersburg like now. But my point being is that, you know what I mean? We say is, the racist grandparents, this and the other, but you're talking about a cultural legacy of, even though the South didn't succeed from the Union, you know what I'm saying? Those sentiments of wanting, white nationalism is still very much a part of the culture of a lot of areas in this country. Like, let's bring the Donald Trump aspect in it. Did you get a chance to check out President Trump's rebuttal, or his statement, if you will? He had a little press conference thing, and he weighed in.
I heard it, and I've seen people get upset that he didn't call out these groups by names, or when he did the All Americans and all this, and not calling them out by names, and that sort of thing. But and you can see, the thing is, even with most of these people that are blatant, but she was saying, would you rather them be blatant or hidden? Well, they blatant or hidden, because like you said, there's a bunch of people that just went in that voting booth, closed the curtain, and voted, and they're your co-workers, and you ain't see nothing in them. And then you see the people that's blatant with it, they are his base, and he is their hero, so he's not really going to come all the way out.
We want to believe that, like, Donald Trump would show up at a KKK rally and be like, yay, raise the roof, I'm with this, for us to understand the type of racist that he is. Because I think that we need to have people be, let's hang all the niggers to understand white racism. You know what I mean? First of all, because racism in and of itself is a white construct, is white supremacy. We're gonna teach on all this sort of thing. That construct, we only understand it and recognize it when someone says they are neo-Nazi. Do we understand the structure of white supremacy when it's not that? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, when we get into the liberal white folk and what have you, that's cool. I dig that. We're liberals. I dig all that sort of thing. But a lot of times where that shows up is when the experiences of those who are like, you got people in your family who are like hardcore white racist cats. You know what I mean? The liberal white cats need to go talk to them cats. Like I spend most of my time talking to, you know what I mean, the dudes that are banging guns among my folk. You know what I mean? I don't spend my time among like white liberal groups to talk to them about, you know what I mean, what black youth need to be doing. I need to talk to black youth because those are my youth. They're my family. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be in those spaces. And I think that the white liberals need to be in the spaces with the white racists and like, yo, let me bring you along. You know what I mean? Uncle so-and-so, cousin so-and-so. That's what you need. You know, that's where you need to show up that you're not racist. I don't need you in the black spaces, you know, trying to plead. I'm telling you, I'm not like them. It doesn't matter in right here. I need you to be over there hollering at them.